Hey folks, Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist, and this is going to be about not being able to survive 3 hours of exposure to extreme weather conditions. This is a news article recent, a few days ago, maybe a couple of days ago, and this happened in Neuquén, in Argentina, in the Patagonia. And what it says is that a truck got stuck in the snow. They went out looking for help and they found them dead. This was a group of 3 people, 2 men, 1 woman, and they were from some kind of Baptist church of some sort. They were in a meeting of some kind, and they were driving back home through a snowstorm, a blizzard of some kind. And what ended up happening was that they got stuck in the snow. And they made the decision. The 2 men decided to go looking for help. The woman stayed behind in the car. A few hours later, that they found the 2 guys dead, 13 kilometers from the car. And 23 hours later, the woman was found alive in the car. Which of course leads you to understand that if they had waited in the car, they would have been much better off. But this video goes to the reality of survival and preparedness when things go wrong, when you don't make the right decisions, when you don't have the right gear. The car is a Hilux, a Toyota Hilux. They were not using chains. They were supposed to have chains. It was the local authorities said you should be going out with chains. They did not follow that advice. Guys, when those recommendations are put out there by the local authorities, they're not kidding, they're not messing around. You should have those chains in your car, in your tires. And beyond that, they didn't have any food, any hot beverage to drink. They didn't have proper clothing. They were wearing just dressing clothes and sneakers and dressing shoes, and that's what they were wearing when trying to walk looking for help. And this all goes back to the famous rule of 3, which I did include in my book, by the way. There's a Zed Street Survival Skills, and you guys are liking it, and I appreciate those reviews in Amazon. If you haven't purchased it already, follow the link below there if you want to check it out. And if you liked it, do leave the review in Amazon. I really appreciate that a lot. So the rule of 3 basically says you cannot survive 3 minutes without air, 3 hours of exposure to extreme weather conditions without proper shelter or clothing, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, and 3 seconds with a bullet through your brain or some other vital organ. Basically illustrating the importance of self-defense and protecting yourself at all times, kind of like kickboxing. And the drawing of the second one, coincidentally, is someone in a cold climate, and it's no coincidence. It's actually because this is one of the occasions in which the rule of 3 that says you're not going to be able to survive that unless you have proper shelter, or in the case here would be clothing. It does apply. It happens quite often that people underestimate the threats of the weather conditions they find themselves in. They overestimate their abilities, the clothes they have, their ability to walk longer distances, and they don't have the right gear. One of the other things that I was explaining in the book was, and this is the part of 7 circles of preparedness, one of those circles is your vehicle and the stuff you keep in it. That's the stuff you will have to face this kind of situation. So depending on your location, the kind of situations you're likely to be in, if your overall area is one in which you may find yourself dealing with a cold weather, winter conditions such as these, then you should have spare clothing just in case you have to walk a few distances. But more to the point is making the right call, making the right decision. And here I relate to this because I found myself in something similar to this a few years ago when I was still in college. I was with a friend of mine. We had to deliver a pickup truck. It was also a Toyota Hilux. We had to deliver it to a construction site in the border between Argentina and Chile. We went up 5,000 meters in 24 hours, drove all day and night through. And one of the things that happens when you go up so fast is altitude sickness. Altitude sickness, acute mountain sickness, AMS, is no joke. I kind of underestimated that. We went up and it was getting late. We spent the night there in the shelter in the construction site, and we had to wake up early in the morning to drive back. And because of the altitude sickness, it got bad. We just were not thinking straight. I woke up in the middle of the night, looked at my watch, and could not understand. Guys, if you don't understand altitude sickness, when it hits you, it may be a mild headache, but if it's bad, you are like drunk or under the influence of drugs. You cannot think straight no matter how much you try. So I looked at my watch and thought it was already the morning. And even though it was the middle of the night, I thought we had to go back to the town and leave the truck with someone else. And this was a construction site building the path between Argentina and Chile. So there was nothing there. It was just all rock, and no one was going to be coming help us if we got stuck there. But I was so confused, so messed up in the head, that I looked at my watch and I thought, oh man, we're late, we have to go. I woke up my friend who was also in my same state of, not understanding anything. I told him we've overslept, we have to hurry, and he did the same thing. He looked at his watch and said, yes, let's hurry up, let's go. We started driving like that, and just a short while later, we went off the path and crashed against a huge boulder. Now, when this happens, the survival instinct kicks in, and your body gets flushed with adrenaline, and that it kind of sorts you out as to start thinking straight again. And I looked at my watch again and realized, man, no, it's not 6 a.m. We left at 9 p.m. We've been driving for a couple hours. We're in the middle of nowhere in the Andes at 5,000 feet above sea level. That's about 5,000 meters above sea level. That's about 17,000 feet. And we're pretty much screwed. Now, my friend, he said, okay, let's walk back. Let's walk back to a shelter. I told him, no, we cannot. We're not going to be making it. It's impossible. With these conditions, the weather like it is, we're going to be dying. We're going to be freezing to death. Okay, let's walk downhill towards the town. And I told him, we're not going to be making it to the town either. We just have to stay put here until the morning and then try to figure out. But if we start walking right now in the middle of the night, we're going to be dying both. And fortunately, he understood what I was telling him. I did have a backpack with me with some food, some beverage. I had a sleeping bag that we opened up and used to stay warm. We turned on the heating in the car so as to heat it up a little bit a couple of times during the night. In the morning, the front tire was busted. It crashed and it was done for. And also the front axis was bent. But we managed to change the tire with a spare. And even with the bent front axis, the Hilux kept on working, and we managed to drive out of there. Yes, the Hilux is a very tough, reliable vehicle. But that's the story, and that's how those decisions you make. So it's about having the proper understanding of your physical limitations. I know I can walk 20, 30 miles if I have to. That's something I can do, right? With a backpack, trail, all that good stuff, sure. Now, in the snow, am I going to be walking 20 kilometers across snow in a blizzard? Nope. No, I'm not going to be doing that. That's understanding what your capabilities are, your abilities, and not underestimating this kind of thing. In that case, they should have stayed put there in the vehicle, and of course they should have had some supplies there so as to be a little bit more comfortable, be warm until help finally arrived. But this is survivalism. This is the kind of thing that happens when emergencies or disasters strike, and not making the right choice may cost you your life. Guys, it's going to be all for now. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Take care. See you on our next video.